Our guest today was a cast member of the groundbreaking television series Good Times, which aired on CBS from 1974 to 1979. Good Times chronicled the struggles of the Evans family, who were living in the Chicago projects. The show has been in reruns ever since, which means multiple generations have now grown up with the Evans' daughter, Thelma, played by our guest today, Bern Nadette Stanis. One of the reasons Good Times resonated with so many people is that the issues and problems the Evans family faced on a weekly basis were ones that all families can relate to, even today. Miss Stanis has also written a book about something that affected her real-life family. And just like the show, it might affect yours too. But first, let's welcome Miss Bern Nadette Stanis to the program.
Thank you very much.
I want to go right back to the beginning. Tell us how you landed the role of Thelma on this new TV show, Good Times.
Well, that's very interesting. It was a beauty pageant that I was in. And believe it or not, I just gave my mom such a hard time about going that day. I just said, I'm not going to win, so I'm not going to go. And so my mother looked at me and said, if you don't get dressed and come on, you know. So anyway, I did get there, and I did my scene. And it was just that Sunday, that particular day, that a manager was there. And he saw me, and he came over to my mom, and he said to her, you know, we're doing a television show, and your daughter looks like she would fit right in that show. So Mommy took the card and everything, and then a couple of days we went up to CBS and for the audition, and when we went inside, of course, there were thousands of girls. Okay, whatever. So then I go in, and I auditioned for, you know, Norman Lear, who was the producer, and also Jimmy Walker, who was already cast for the part.
Right.
And I auditioned, and a couple of auditions later, I find out that I'm Thelma.
And you still are.
I guess
yeah.
so.
So as far as I know, Good Times was really the first television program to focus on an African-American family. Am I right?
Yes, it is. It was the very first family, you know, unit where it was a mom and a dad and children. Yes, we were the first, and I was the first Black female teenager ever on television.
All right. You know, when I watched the show, and I watched it when it was in its original run, and I was much, much younger, I paid attention to the kids on the show. That was really my focus. So
right.
You and Jimmy and Ralph Carter, I probably identified more with Ralph Carter's character of Michael because he would have been the closest to my age.
Yeah.
But now when I watch the show, I'm focusing on everybody, especially the adults. And John Amos is magnificent as the Evans patriarch, but Esther Roll as your mom on the program, Florida, what an amazing actress.
Definitely. She was an amazing woman. I'm so glad that she took me under her wing as her TV daughter, and I eventually nestled in there and became her daughter anyway.
All right.
You know, and she was just wonderful. You know, she took the lead in everything in the family on the show, and I'm glad she did because, you know, she helped me to follow her footsteps and to learn how to be a professional by watching her and listening to her guidelines, you know.
Right.
She taught me about not being late. and then she taught me about understanding where I was in the professional game. In other words, I was a rookie and I was just learning. So she wanted me to understand, although you may be a star, you may, you know, have all that going on, you still are learning. So be humble, be this, be that, and I learned it. And so I'm grateful to her.
She was a stage actress, wasn't she, prior to that?
Yes, all of us were.
Because not every TV show can claim this, but even though the situations on Good Times are fictional, every moment on that show is true. In other words, all the performances are completely believable and come from a kind of truth.
Thank you.
You know, baby, it sure seems strange having money left over at the end of the month.
You children are responsible for that, you know. Your part-time jobs help to put us ahead. This never happened to this family before. What are we going to do with the extra $35, James?
I don't know. Whatever we do, we better spend it today, because tomorrow it ain't going to be worth but $22.50. baby, why don't you take the money and buy something for yourself? Something silly. You deserve it.
Hey, I just had a better thought of what to do with that money.
Huh?
I'd like for Thelma to take singing lessons with Gertie Vincent.
You really mean it?
Oh, Ma, now Dad said do something silly, not insane.
We're talking to actress Bern Nadette Stanis today on the Vintage Rock and Pop Shop, and a friend of mine asked me to ask you if, when Janet Jackson joined the cast of Good Times, if any of her famous brothers ever visited the set.
Yes, they did. All of them did, actually. It's amazing because I kind of knew Jermaine before she got on the show because I just became friends with them before.
Right.
But when Janet came on the show, you know, Michael would come, and the wardrobe mistress on our show, Adela Farmer, she recently told me that when Michael would come to the set, he was in disguise, so only she and Janet knew that Michael was in the audience.
Right.
Because I certainly didn't know. So he would come a little disguised, and he would come to see his sister perform. And when, of course, when meeting Michael, he was a lovely person, very, very sweet soul.
Has anybody seen my pin cushion?
Oh, yeah, I hope you don't mind, Ma. I used it as part of a still life of a bowl of fruit I was painting.
JJ, you use my pin cushion in a bowl of fruit?
Yeah, Ma, that's true ghetto artistry. You use what you got. I use your pin cushion as the apple, Dad's socks as the avocado, Michael's basketball as the pumpkin, and Thelma's face as the lemon.
Just bend a little and you can throw your body in as a banana.
Now, I know that over the years, the surviving cast of Good Times have reunited for personal appearances, and it seems to me that everybody gets along.
Yes, we do. We get along because it's like a family. We really have that respect for each other and that professional attitude towards each other. We've gone through, you know, a lot. I mean, to work with someone for 5 straight years and to really kind of be a family and, you know, you kind of get a bond whether you like it or not, you know?
What I'm wondering is if you and Jimmy Walker have the same kind of teasing banter in real life that your characters have on the show.
It's a loving banter. It's the same thing. It's like, you know how when you grow up with your brothers and sisters and then you're grown and then you all get together and then somebody will come out the way they used to always come out at you.
Right.
That's how it is. We're really kind of like brother and sister in that way. Like he'll come out and say some things and I'm like, oh, stop it, come here, you know.
Right.
Or when we're taking a picture or something, sometimes he's like, I'm not going to smile. You know, he's like that.
Right.
I'm like, you're going to smile.
See, you
Bern.
You inherited a TV family, that's all.
I certainly did.
We talked earlier about your TV mom, but your real-life mother suffered from Alzheimer's, and you've written a book about your experience as a caregiver.
Yes, I did. It's called The Last Night, A Caregiver's Journey Through Transition and Beyond. And I had to write that book. It healed me in my writing of it. I knew my mom wanted a book written about her life and how she got me to good times, you know, just things that she did in her life. And I wanted to write that book with her, for her, and we wanted to do it before she passed away. But, of course, Alzheimer's was coming in on us a little too fast, and I couldn't get a grip on it, you know. So the night that she passed, you know, I said to her, Mom, I'm going to get it done. It's not over yet. I'm going to get it done. And it was as if, you know, I could feel her spirit, you know. It was like she agreed.
Right.
And it was a wonderful experience, and I do explain when I say wonderful, not wonderful that she passed, but it was an experience that was quite different than I thought it would be. I understood a spiritual level of of the whole transition that I knew about but didn't experience it before, so it was quite different. And I wanted to share what caregiving is, and for all of the world, really, but especially America, what we go through as caregivers. It really doesn't really matter if it's Alzheimer's, blood pressure, cancer, whatever the disease is. If you're caring for someone that's very close to you, that you love, you know, I wanted to share that experience of the mourning their lives and also keeping them alive while you're mourning the life.
Right.
And I, too, had to go through something like that, and that can give you strength during your time. If it happens to you, let me be a part of that strength for you.
You've also set up a foundation, haven't you?
Yes. It is amazing what the name of it is. It's called Remembering the Good Times.
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect.
An Alzheimer's Foundation. And I did it because Mom and I were watching Good Times. Mm-hmm. Okay? And she was looking at, you know, me play Thelma and JJ doing our argument, whatever we were doing up there.
Right.
And she was looking, and she turned to me, and this is in the throes of the Alzheimer's, okay?
Okay.
And she looked at me, and she said, you know, that's a cute little old girl.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was amazing. And she even said that, but just the fact that she no longer recognized that it was me. Yeah. And that this experience of Good Times really altered, changed our whole lives. And she didn't even, you know, remember that. And that's how come I called it Remembering the Good Times and Alzheimer's Foundation, because this disease is such a monster that when I just got so angry at it because it did that to Mom, you know? And so I had to name it that. And that's really the reason why it was named Remembering the Good Times. And actually, it's funny because she didn't remember, but Alzheimer's, you don't remember. So it was perfect.
Yeah, this thing for people who aren't affected by that, they think, you know, Alzheimer's affects one person. It affects the whole family.
It does.
Yeah, the whole family has to go through it.
Yeah, it affects the whole family because it affects the dynamics of the family.
Right.
Parent not remembering who the children are and calling them, who's that lady over there? And,
yeah.
My brother had an experience with Mom. He's a pastor, and he was taking her to church. She was sitting in the back seat. He was sitting in the front. And she said something to him like this. She said, young man, who are you? And he said, Mom, I'm your son. And then she paused, and she said, you came out of me? You know, and it's amazing some of the things that they do say, but and you know, the filter is gone also. So
right.
Some wild things may come out. But it was such a moment for him, you know, to realize, oh, my God, my mom. You know.
Once again, the book is called The Last Night, A Caregiver's Journey Through Transition and Beyond, and you can find it on Amazon.com. And for more information about our guest today, Bern Nadette Stanis, you can go on over to Facebook. She has a page there. Just look for Bern Nadette, 2 words, Bern Nadette Stanis, and you can be kept up to date. I want to thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. I have to pinch myself that I'm speaking to you because there I was, a little kid, watching Good Times. I mean, I was a little kid. By the way, in recent photos, you must have found some sort of elixir of youth.
Oh, yes, you're sweet. Thank you.
I saw this picture of you, and I said, what was she, 5 years old when she was on Good Time? There's no possible way. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on your show.